Hello, today we're going to talk about the topic suturing techniques. First, we're going to talk about the armamentarium needed for suturing. For suturing, first we need a tissue forceps. We also need a needle holder, which is held correctly this way. We also need scissors in order to cut the excess suturing material. We can use several suturing materials such as silk, prolene, or vicryl according to the type of tissue we are suturing. The suturing material pack is opened in this manner. First, we remove the plastic unsterile pack. Then we open the internal sterile pack. Then we take the suturing material and hold it with the needle holder. The needle is held by the needle holder from the internal 1/3 of the needle, and then the needle holder is closed and secured. The first suturing technique we will talk about is the simple interrupted suture. We perform this suturing technique by holding one of the incision lines by a tissue forceps, then inserting the needle 2 to 3 millimeters away from the incision line. The needle is then pulled out and then inserted into the other side, also 2 to 3 millimeters away from the incision line. The needle is then pulled out again until the excess suturing material is at its minimum. The next step is making a knot. A knot is made by doing 3 clockwise loops with the suturing material around the needle holder, then holding the free end of the suturing material by the needle holder, then moving our 2 hands in opposite directions until it's secured. Then we repeat this procedure. Each time we do a knot, we change our direction of loops. So the first knot is made clockwise, then the second knot is made anti-clockwise, and so on. Remove the excess suturing material, leaving only 2 to 3 millimeters of the suturing material. The knot is made on the buccal side of the incision, not on the incision line, in order not to harbor bacteria and infect the incision line and delay healing. The second suturing technique we are going to talk about is the continuous suture. The continuous suture is done mainly by doing a simple interrupted suture at the beginning of the incision line then cutting only the free end of the suturing material and leaving the one with the needle. Then we keep inserting the needle from one side to the other and so on until we suture the whole incision line. When doing the knot for the suturing technique, we make a small loop with the suturing material in order to use it to knot the final knot of the continuous suture. Knotting is done in the same manner mentioned before, and also inserting the needle each time is done in the same manner a simple interrupted suture is done. We make sure that the sutures are equidistant and are on the same line on each side of the incision line. This suturing technique is mainly used for alveoloplasties and long incisions. It has the advantage of saving time, but if one of the sutures was cut, the whole suture falls apart and the incision is opened again. So it's not considered as a very stable suture. The third technique we are going to talk about is the continuous suture with lock. This technique resembles the previous technique of the continuous suture, but with doing a modification of doing a lock with each suture, making it more secure and much stronger. We start off by doing a simple interrupted suture. Then, after doing the first knot, we cut only the free end of the suturing material. We start the first suture, but instead of going from one side of the incision line to the other and then pulling the whole suture outside, we leave a little loop. We move the needle through the loop that we made. Then we pull our suture to tighten it to do the lock. We then insert our needle from one side to the other again, and then we do another loop and then we insert the needle through this loop to make another lock. We continue on the same manner until the whole incision line is sutured. Then we do our knot by the same manner as the continuous suture. This suturing technique for long incisions and alveoloplasties, and it's stronger and more secure than the continuous suturing technique. The fourth technique that we will do is the horizontal mattress suture. This suturing technique is done by inserting the needle from one side of the incision line, then going out, then inserting the needle again into the other side of the incision line, leaving a distance and reinserting the needle from the same side to the opposite side. In this manner, the suture is going through the incision line in a circle-like manner, resembling a tightened sack rope. After taking the needle out from the same side that it was inserted from, we do our knot and tighten our suture in order to bring the two incision lines closer. We then cut the excess suturing material. This technique is mainly used to tighten wide extraction sockets and to suture skin incisions. The fifth technique is the vertical mattress suture. It's mainly used when we suture a deep incision with multi-layers. In this technique, we use the near, far rule, suturing the superficial layers by inserting the needle near to the incision line, inserting it on the opposite side of the incision line, also near to the incision line. We insert the needle far from the incision line, taking a deep bite into the deep tissues. And taking it out from the opposite side of the incision, also far from the incision line, taking the deep tissues and bringing the deep and the superficial tissues together tightly. We then do our knot and secure it and cut the excess suturing material. The last technique that we will talk about today is the figure of 8 suture. This suturing technique is used for suturing extraction sockets and grafting material and membranes. We start off by inserting the needle from the mesio-buccal aspect of the socket. Then we pull the needle out and insert the needle from the mesio-lingual aspect of the socket. And then we pull the needle out and then insert it from the disto-buccal aspect of the socket. We pull the needle out and insert the needle from the disto-lingual aspect of the socket. This will allow us to make a figure-of-8 suture to tighten the socket and also secure any grafting material inserted into the socket. We then make our knot buccally and cut the excess suturing material. And now it's your turn to test yourself and start practicing on your surgical pad. Thank you for watching.